Teens these days don't care about their future. They're always on their phones, in the internet, and they're always constantly taking selfies.
Whoa. 60% of teens actually want their job to have some sort of impact on the world. 26% actually volunteer, and 76% are concerned about their impact on the globe. So teens do care, they just care in a different way.
What? No way. No.
What? What the? No way. Oh. Hi, I'm Emerald, and this is Johnson.
Hello.
Let's talk about how a constant exposure to technology means a constant connection to the world and its problems, affecting how Gen Z is more proactive about the social and political aspects of life. Let's start with this. Does Generation Z even care about the future? Or do they only care about memes and selfies?
Since 41% spend 3 or more hours a day on the computer, they're exposed to political and social problems such as the Black Lives Matter and the LGBT movement. The internet has no censorship and doesn't shy away from any topic because it's controversial. Go to any social media and I guarantee at least one person is sharing about the world and its problems. When you're constantly exposed to problems and suffering in the world, it's difficult not to care. I mean, have you seen a SPCA ad? This generation also grew up with things like 9/11, the Black Lives Matter movement, economic decline, and global warming. There are plenty of scary topics looming over our heads. The world right now is Gen Z's future, so if they attempt to fix it now, they can see a brighter future. Almost half of Gen Z, about 47%, says voting is important even though most Gen Zers cannot vote yet. All the problems now are going to affect their future. Who would sit back and let their future go to ruin when there's something you can do? So we know that the reason why Gen Zers care about the world's problems, but wouldn't being exposed to issues so distant from them and so often that Gen Zers may become desensitized of uncaring?
So Gen Zers feel that our homeland is online. They can make connections with those millions of miles away from them and form connections based on shared interests. And not just because they're closer. Because of this, Gen Zers feel less cultural divisions with each other around the world. They're less likely to judge someone based on their race or ethnicity. There's no patriotism telling us that the US hates Syria or the British hate Europe because of the Brexit. So Gen Zers can personally connect with citizens in those certain areas that are being directly and indirectly affected. Issues in places like Syria or China aren't so far away and unreachable because someone you care about can be directly affected. Gen Zers are more aware of just themselves and actually care about issues around the world now because they have a connection to it. Just because the problems are reoccurring, if you care about them, you can't be desensitized. You're now connected to bigger things because you witness it, even if you don't personally experience it. If you want to go deeper, problems don't just stop being problems because you're used to them. Let's go back to the SPCA situation that Johnson mentioned. Say I see the commercial and care, but don't do anything to help. The commercial continues to air, and if I see it again and again, well, I don't just stop caring because I got used to it. Even if I see the issue repetitively, I don't just stop caring because it doesn't stop being a problem in the world. Like, in social and political problems today, people are still being affected at this exact moment. And as a Gen Zer, I just become more and more aware of it, not less and less caring. What exactly is Gen Z even doing to change the world, huh?
It has a personal brand that they really began to create on the internet, being raised and growing up with the social media shaped by Gen Zers' identities. Whereas millennials only began to experience social media and news coverage towards the middle of their lifetime when it really started. Their identities aren't centered around social media, even though millennials do about the same as Gen Z. So one thing Gen Z cares about is maintaining that image of themselves and letting it show who they are. They don't associate with anything that they don't believe in. This includes brands and comparison. 93% say that a company's impact on society affects their decision to work there. And Gen Zers won't simply forget their values for trendy products.
For example, take the Abercrombie incident. CEO Mike Jeffries made a remark about not allowing plus-size or not good-looking people to represent their brand. The internet exploded, and all I saw for weeks was teens boycotting the store and promising to never offer services again.
Force the companies to support important topics today. They're also forcing the workforce to be more diverse. With a 50% increase in multiracial youth population since 2000, they're constantly exposed to people that are different than them, both in life and on the internet. Gen Zers won't accept racism or any bias because they live in a world where those separations don't really exist. Gen Zers have grown up in diversity and now is expected to be part of their being. If a company tries to choose workers based on race, they'll get caught out. And no, Gen Zers won't sacrifice their beliefs for a job.
Gen Z is sorta looked down upon for having an 8-second attention span and moving from topics too quickly. But actually...
Squirrel!
Where?
Where'd it go? Wait, it was just there.
Huh. What were we talking about? Oh! Sorry, I get distracted anyways. Gen Zers multitask across at least 5... Pay attention to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gen Zers multitask across at least 5 screens daily. Not to mention the speed at which tons of information is pouring down on them. It'd be hard for anyone to never lose focus. But Gen Zers are honestly trying to make the world a better place. And you can't fault them for that.
You're right. What's Gen Z actually doing? What actions are they personally taking to fight for their causes?
Gen Zers' main weapon is the internet. Contrary to popular belief, Gen Zers aren't just sitting on their devices talking about the world's problems, which, by the way, is referred to as slacktivism. Because Gen Zers on the internet are seen similarly to people shouting on soapboxes. You know, not getting anything done. But the internet makes it possible to get in contact with those experiencing the problems you want to bring exposure to. Not to mention, as teens, it's not exactly easy to speak your mind in the world. Most Gen Zers are teenagers, and teens don't have the authority nor the power to force the news to give media coverage to what they care about. So Gen Zers are making things go viral and forcing others to acknowledge their causes and things that may otherwise be covered up. Like when the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson ignited worldwide protests in August of 2014, or the multiple black people killed by police that barely got coverage in news, but gained exposure due to the sites like Tumblr or Twitter. With constant internet exposure, Gen Z's causes can't be ignored or covered up anymore. In fact, being on the internet not only means that Gen Zers have the ability to get their message out, they can actually do things with the internet, which provides much needed resources and connections not only for Gen Zers, but for anyone with an internet connection. Political rallies for people like Mike Brown or support groups for people like Leila Alcorn are created with the help of Gen Zers who want to make their world a better place. The internet provides charity fundraising platforms like change.org or justgive.org to donate or sign petitions and create events to show our support. It also gives us access to those we might not be able to even reach in person, people from opposite ends of the globes or reporters. Without the internet, Gen Zers would be less aware of problems and less able to actually do anything. So let's wrap it all up.
Gen Z is more globally concerned because connecting through the internet causes them to care about people all over the world, not just those around them. Political and social problems aren't so far away, so it's expected that Gen Z would care and want to help.
Because they have awareness of the world's problems, it's difficult to be faced with so much and not care. Gen Zers grow into an identity shaped by the internet and diversity in the world. They won't accept anything they don't believe in. This forces companies who want to cater to Gen Z to adapt and to care more about these issues.
Not only does the internet make an awareness and motivate Gen Zs to actually get out in the world and help, but it also provides the tools to do it. The internet provides exposure to problems and may be overlooked and hidden by media.
It also supplies them with the ability to gain information and knowledge about anything. And once they have that knowledge, the internet even provides charity websites, petitions, and a means to create organized events and support their causes.
Because Gen Zers have different methods of approaching political and social issues that Gen X may not be used to. But that doesn't make Gen Z any less innovative and effective at changing the world.
Thanks for watching,
and I hope you enjoyed.